Hi guys, welcome back to Sunday Sermon with Ola. I'm down, but committed, committed to being consistent. So I'm here. I've even considered not putting out an episode this week, but it's about that consistency. I'm very, very serious about this. I hope you guys feel me on this. I hope you guys feel me in my efforts. But I'm down, and I think part of it is to do with very real disappointments, but I think maybe some of it is to do with what we're going to end up discussing today. And then I think, sometimes when I put aside the fact that I'm down or I bring it up, really, even it's so that I'm coming from a place of authenticity, not because I want to bum you out for like what should be an escape for you, or listening to a podcast to take you somewhere else. I want to bring you a sense of authenticity in what I'm discussing. So at least then, at the very least, whether you agree with me or not, you at least get the sense that I'm being real with you. Cool. I have to thank everybody that joined the Instagram live last week. I'm always surprised. I think I go live every week, almost doubting that anyone's going to show up. But you guys stay showing up, and I appreciate that. I also have to give a big thank you to the Patreon supporters, and just ask that any more of you who appreciate what it is I do and would like to support that financially, please do go to the Patreon and sign up. Really would like to get to like 50 by the end of the year. That would be fantastic, but it's not so much about just hitting the target. It's about making sure that I'm establishing a good relationship with you where you're happy with the content you're getting and you're willing to support it. That's the most important part. So thank yous are out the way, I guess. Let's get into today's topic. So I had a couple of people suggest this Netflix show for me to watch. And I guess maybe because of the topics I speak about, or maybe just because of the way in which I approach things, made them all think that this would be something good for Ola to watch. But it's interesting when multiple people suggest something to you. It means that they resonate, or they see something in it that would resonate with you. So shout out to Emily, and shout out to, I think it was Favo as well. But whoever it was that recommended The Social Dilemma to me. So I watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it. I think it should be required viewing. It's important for us to watch. I remember seeing a will.i.am interview in which he was talking about our phones. And he said, we don't understand how these things work. And I think this film is about helping us understand more about how they work. I think it started to enter the public discourse a bit about social media, the business model that they have set up, and some of the dangers around it. You can look at some obvious things like body dysmorphia and body image, and young girls committing suicide based on issues with image that are exacerbated by social media. I think for the longest, like, insecurities have been there. Insecurities are human, but now you can see every reason why your insecurity is correct or upheld, like on a day-to-day basis. That's what social media does. But also the main point is that, this show or this movie has got all of these Facebook, Instagram, Google employees, Twitter employees on there talking about how unethical these companies are. One guy in particular tells his story about writing this presentation that goes almost viral within the company, about how Gmail, like, someone needs to work on making Gmail less addictive. And even the CEO was made aware of this presentation 3 times in one day. Just from people bringing it up in meetings, and then it all just vanished into thin air, which would insinuate that maybe the companies are very much aware of the fact that they make things addictive, not maybe insinuates, they know they're making it addictive, but they don't care because that's what drives profits, right? So the skeleton of it is that company, all of these free apps you get, like all your Google apps, all the ones that are owned by Google, your YouTubes, your Gmail, all of that stuff, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all of these apps are designed in a way that you are the product. You're not the customer anymore. Corporate interests are the customers. Advertisers are the customers. You are the product. So they collect and harvest ridiculous amounts of data about you. We even started thinking that it was about selling our data on. They don't want to sell your data. They want, because that's what gives them their power. What they actually want to do is they want to look at the data. They want to analyze so much data that they can predict your moves. And not only can they predict it, they can then manipulate your moves. They can then have you almost under control in a way that you're not aware. So it really made me think, first of all. It really made me think because I'm aware that they collect information, but I was like, the level of information they collect. Like how long you spend scrolling, what kind of things you stop scrolling at, and how long you spend looking. So that they can figure out and work out what makes you stop scrolling, what makes you really look at something. There's one that I've known before, but hearing it again, the fact that, when you pull down on your screen and then like the little wheel comes up as it loads something new, that concept is the exact same thing as a slot machine in Vegas. You pull down in the same way you pull down a lever, and the spin is to get your brain used to the idea of like, what is it gonna show me? So if you go to your Instagram Explore page and you scroll down, it's gonna show you a whole new Explore page, but it gets you into that excitement that every single time it reinforces in your brain that every time you pull down, you're gonna get something exciting show up, and it could be the next funny video that you want to see, or it could be the next beautiful picture of somebody that you want to see. Like, it's that same concept that as you spin in the slot machine. And I'm like, yeah, I know that one's for real, because that's that desire to just like pull down on it and see what comes up next. I get that 100%. But at the same time, like, I was really worried, like, how much. Do you know what really concerns me sometimes? Like, what if while I'm scrolling or I'm on the internet, they turn on the camera? What if all of these companies just have footage of me while I'm scrolling through their apps? If, let's say, for example, they wanted to entrap you. You're going to do something great in life. Someone wants to come up with one video to like hold it against you. Think of how easy it would be. You're constantly holding, when you look at your phone, you're holding a camera to your face. It's not that crazy that they could hack the camera and watch you. I know people definitely say they feel like they're being listened in on, because they'll talk about, hey, I need a rice cooker, and then they go on Instagram and an advert for a rice cooker pops up. So clearly, we've gave them all access to our microphones. Obviously, you did it because you thought, oh, when I'm recording a video on a story, I want it to be able to capture my voice. But you didn't specify that you can only use the microphone when you're capturing my voice for when I'm recording a video on your app. You just gave the app permission to use your microphone. So what if they use your camera while you're scrolling through porn sites? What if they record your face while you're jerking off and hold that against you one day? What if they record the things you really say about people when you're going through their page and you're looking at their pictures? All the little mean comments, the little shade you throw, the way in which you critique their outfits, you make fun of their bodies. What if those videos there? And what if those videos then got hacked and released? Let's say they were harvesting the data for themselves, but then they got hacked and it got released. These tools we're talking about are stupidly powerful. And, I think they said, in the last few decades, like, processing power has increased by like 1,000,000,000,000 times. Processing power is increasing at an exponential rate. So their ability to collect and harvest data is at an all-time high. They have these huge computers and they're constantly making these calculations, almost to the point where no one even knows what these computers are really doing anymore. You write the code, but machine learning basically says the machine then starts to teach itself. So then the question then becomes, what do we do about this? Now, the reason why I kind of went back and forth as to whether to really discuss this, because I think the film does a really good job of capturing things. But the real discussion for me is like, I'm acutely aware that as this video drops, it's dropping on YouTube. And as the video drops on YouTube, I'm going to make sure a clip drops on Instagram. I'm going to try and send you over to the YouTube. Why? Let me be honest. One day, once I cross the 1,000 subscribers mark, they're going to let me start monetizing. Once they let me start monetizing, I get paid for the number of ads that they're able to show. So this sort of evil mastermind business that they have, where they make us all addicted to their product so that they can sell our attention, or they can monetize our attention by manipulating us and so on, requires people like myself to be complicit. The content creators, the influencers. Think about what YouTube would be if none of us put videos on there. It'd be dead. It'd just be a website. It'd be Vimeo. Nah, I'm joking. Vimeo has got mad videos on there. But you get my point. You get my point that like literally these platforms are nothing without what we put into them. So I have to investigate my position in all of this. Am I contributing to your downfall by increasing the value of these platforms by putting my content on there? And the little money I get for YouTube ads, for example, is that the bribe that I take to turn my eyes away, look away? That's the beautiful thing about things like YouTube, is that they cut you in on it. So we all become part of it. We all both become advertisers and products. How crazy is that? So now we're all actively involved in selling at each other. But the process of selling to people, I don't think that's necessarily wrong. But the issue here is, well, what are you willing to do to sell to somebody? In the film, they play out this situation in which this boy is not looking at his phone. So they kind of dramatize the algorithm as these three men having a conversation within a computer. And they basically throw him a notification to try and get another connection, to get him to like wave at somebody on some social platform so that they can figure out if they're truly friends, so they can make that connection. But then still not getting the response that they want. They use his location to realize he's right next to another user who's a girl. So they add her picture to his feed. He sees the picture and he stops scrolling. So they figure out that he likes that girl, and he's probably the reason why he's not looking at his phone is because he's near that girl. So then they now send him an advert for like some kind of hair product. The idea being that if this guy likes this girl, he's going to be more concerned about his appearance, therefore we can sell him stuff. Now, in one sense of the word, I'm going, that's pretty smart deductions, man. That algorithm's very, very intelligent. But on the other hand, I'm going, do you really trust companies to motivate good behaviors in people? No, they're profit driven. You know, like, to a certain extent, I can talk about how much I care and how much I want to see people do good, and that's the reason why I do Sunday sermon, and I try and talk about topics and bring up good conversations and share experiences from my life and be frank about my struggles and so on, because I genuinely want to put good into the world. But this is definitely not the most profitable business model. You can definitely see it. I know a lot of you want to tell me, oh, one day it's gonna get there. It's gonna all pay off. Blah blah blah. That's fantastic. But let me let you know right now, it's not paying. Whereas, if let's say, for example, I used these exact same cameras and all of this lighting to shoot for OnlyFans. I don't know if OnlyFans girls actually get videographers in. I don't think they appreciate the craft of videography. Maybe they just do it on their cell phones. But let's say one of them was particularly wanted to invest in her content so much that she got me in to shoot. She would be able to pay me way more than I make doing the podcast, because the cheeks is monetized. She's monetized the cheeks so well, she can afford a videographer. Because people pay for cheeks. People go. I still don't get the fact that that many people are on OnlyFans. I don't get it 100% myself. I know that there is a certain amount to which some people enjoy the paying, and maybe some people are so deeply addicted, which is relevant to this discussion about social media. But people are so addicted that they're willing to pay. But they are willing to pay is the point. So if we're going to do business, maybe we do need to look at ways of continually manipulating people. But then we say, okay, cool, we want to be ethical, right? We want to be ethical. Where's the middle ground? How much manipulation is okay? We can see what the effects it's having. We can see polarization in politics. We can see the fact that young girls and their self-images are affected. You know, even young men. I don't know if you on the Insta Live last week, but Tina said I was built like Kim K, and that took the wind out my sails for the whole live. I was humble as heck after that. She said I was built like Kim K. That thing still hurts. It's funny as heck. That's the reason why it hurts so much. When it's not funny, it doesn't hurt. When it was when she dropped it, it was funny. She said I'm built like Kim K. Oh. But what does that say about me and the way that I take my body image? I follow a couple of guys, some of these workout guys, and I see their posts, and I'm like, I follow them for motivation. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get in shape like this. And most of the time I watch them working out, I'm like, you working out again, brother? Come on, man, again. You know you have to, right? Apologies if you're looking in my eyes, and I'm rubbing them right now on the YouTube. I am very tired, and it is late. It is, it's almost 1 a.m. But like these guys get hench. They put out the content. We get hooked on the content, and then they sell me on some protein powder or whatever it is. That's the model. That's the monetization model. So when I talk about like wanting to monetize what I do, I'm like, at some point I'm gonna have to join the whole setup, the whole game. I have to figure out what I'm gonna sell you. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to sell you, except for probably my own merch. Maybe these Sunday service caps, and maybe get some hoodies in, and blah blah blah. But at the same time, like, if I now want to sell you the hoodies, and let's say I start looking for online markers for people who might be lonely, and I might be like, yo, all the cool, rich, successful people are wearing Sunday service hoodies, and the reason why you're lonely is because you're not in with the cool crowd. Come to Sunday service, buy a hoodie. If I go down that method of marketing, obviously in more subtle ways, not putting it out directly like that, is that an okay amount of manipulation to tap into somebody's weakness like that? We started touching on it last week in the Insta Live, but it's like driving a business need and exploiting someone's weakness and insecurity aren't that different. Two sides of the same coin. So what do you do about it? I don't know. This is another one of those weeks where I really don't know. But I'm really forced to. I didn't like. I watched it and thought, hold on a sec. I need to really be careful. I need to stop. Just looking at anything on Twitter. I need to stop taking my phone with me to the toilet. I need to stop basically jumping every time my phone buzzes. I need to really take time away from my phone so my phone doesn't own me. Maybe count 10 seconds before I check what that buzz was about. I stopped a whole bunch of apps from notice. I've done it before, but I got a bit more, cutthroat with it and stopped a lot of apps from showing me notifications. There's still a few that can, but most of them I've turned it off. So I definitely saw it as like, I'm an average human being and I don't want to be used. I don't want to be addicted, because the problem with that is it's almost like there's a real withdrawal when you don't have your phone. And that's why I was saying that, like, it's kind of roped in when I said I'm down at the beginning, because I can feel it over the course of today. I've had some news that I wasn't favorable, that I didn't want to happen, and so that's part of it. But also, I'm actively removing what's been my digital pacifier for so long. I'm removing that as an option, and I'm saying, I'm gonna try and deal with this holistically. I've prayed, and I've tried to talk to God, and I've just ended up frustrated. But Instagram is always there with a whole new feed for you. More memes, more jokes, more girls with big bumps. Sometimes, like my wife will come and look at my explore page and be like, is this really what you like? Look at your whole feed is full of... And there'll be things in there that's like, I have never looked for anything like this in my life. But what the app is doing is not just simply going, oh, you like this? Let me show you more of this. It's now starting to go, if you like this, I think you might also like this. So where does that end? Where does that end? Because I need that service. When I'm trying to find who is it that likes my comedy, who is it that's going to come to Sunday service, I kind of go, well, maybe the kind of person who, I don't know, is black, upwardly mobile. I put together a little demographic, for example. But then, if I want to do ads on Instagram, I kind of have to like put that in real terms. Maybe they like Skepta and Stormzy. Maybe they listen to Afro beats. Maybe they're between this age and this age. I'm essentially doing the exact same thing as all these big companies. I'm saying, look, I want to leverage someone's existing interest. You've gone on Instagram, you've let everybody know you like Stormzy's new song or Skepta's new song or whatever it is. You've posted pictures of him, you follow him, you've used his music in your story and whatnot. The app now goes, oh yeah, this person likes so-and-so. And I think, okay, if that person likes them, they might like Sunday service. So if I need to sell tickets, I want to target that kind of person. Is that bad? I want to discuss this on the live for real. Because it's really like, real doom and gloom in terms of what they were discussing. We're talking about like, this could cause civil war. I mean, we already got people committing suicide over this thing. So it's like, I'm not going to pretend like it's been innocuous so far. But what I'm saying is that like, it could really descend into chaos. Social media allows, countries like Russia to interfere with elections. Social media is what allowed Cambridge Analytica to help the Brexit campaign and the Trump campaign. But what do? Do you turn it off? What would I do? What would my business be if I didn't have social media? Where would you even see my clips and my content? If there was no live shows because of pandemic, lockdown, and there was no social media, do I even have any relevance in this world? I'd be looking at myself like, yo, I don't even know how people marketed themselves before social media. Okay, I know people pound the pavement, they hand out flyers, put up posters, all that kind of stuff. I do know that. But I mean, in today's world, what would you do now? you know, every like recently, I don't know if you noticed, if you follow me, you might see that I've started putting out like clips of my stand up and clips from the podcast and so on, and I go and put the subtitles on there. Why? Because I'm trying to drive engagement and get you to stop scrolling and all that kind of stuff, and I'm just playing right into it. Because ultimately, the house always wins. The platform is the one that's winning, really. The algorithm's been kicking my butt recently. I've been putting in a hell of work and seeing very, very limited results at times. So I'm fighting this invisible almighty enemy who's infallible and cannot be questioned or held accountable. It's the algorithm. And here I am, like, putting real money into trying to appease the algorithm, putting real time into appeasing the algorithm. Let's be honest, even when I talk about being consistent on this podcast, it's because the algorithm rewards consistency. So I've had a lot to really think about in terms of what I do. And like I say, I want to make value, I want to, add value on this earth, and I want to, I want to be conscientious to a certain extent, and I want to do good. But at the same time, I feel powerless in this area. Even if I did want to take a stand, what would I do? Come off social media? You guys would forget about me and just move on to the next person. It's almost like real world doesn't even matter that much, because if it's not on socials, if it's not on the internet, then it's not real. Because even if you're going to say, yeah, I enjoy live comedy, most of the time, if you're going to go to a live comedy show, you find out that it's happening on social media. I've always had this aversion. I've always fought back against social media for some reason. I know there's something deeply in me, because I like, certain elements of privacy and so on, that makes me push back and fight on this social media thing. I started a TikTok account and I just deleted the app, and I was like, yo, I can't do this, man. I really can't. I remember I asked for a social media blackout at my wedding, and somehow some people still posted stuff. I know something in me wants to fight it, but almost at this point, I have my little skirmishes. I'm trying to do my thing, trying to make sure it doesn't rule me. But at the same time, these guys have won. These guys have won already. They've tapped into our deepest human needs. They've got our brains addicted and hooked. Even something as simple as, when you see the app and then it gives you like 44, as in the number of the number of emails you might have unread, and they put it in a red bubble. They do that on purpose because it increases a sense of urgency in your brain. You start to look at that red bubble that says the number. You're like, I need to clear that number. Check yourself. Check how you behave. I know some of you got to the point where you got 6,783 unread emails, and at that point you don't care anymore. But most of the time, the reason why they put that little red blob on the app when there's some kind of notification is because it increases urgency. Red is like danger. I need to do something about this. Something to think about, man. I do still want to do the Instagram live, but I kind of feel weird even asking you guys to join. Look, if you're already there, come join me tonight. Let's have this discussion. But if not, man, look after your mental health. Stay safe. Go for a walk. Hug your family. Have real sex. Drink real drinks and eat real food. And stay blessed.